welcome back to another reading update. You may have noticed that I didn't post a reading update last week. That's because I'm going to change the cadence of these. I was doing them every week and it was just a lot of pressure to always have something new to talk about, and that was really impacting my joy of reading. So I instead am going to be doing them every other week to give myself some time to actually make progress in more challenging books and not feel as pressured to always have something new going on. Anyway, yeah, let's jump right in. Okay, so for the first thing I want to talk about, I was in the middle, I was towards the end, I guess, of reading this, and my last update is How to Do Nothing by Jenny Odell. I finally finished it. It was our January book club pick. I really enjoyed it. This was very challenging for me. It is pretty dense. It talks about a lot of really complicated subjects like philosophy, modern contemporary art, performance art specifically, and then also politics, social justice, just all of the things basically. And it's very anti-capitalist. I actually ended up annotating this. You can see my cute little dog tab stickers that my mother-in-law got me for Christmas. Because there was just a lot of things that I either wanted to go back and reference just in my own life or go back and reference when we have our book club meeting here in a couple weeks. I am really proud of myself for finishing this one, and don't take this as it was bad and I had to just swim through it. I just am not a nonfiction reader, and I know that even if I'm super interested and engaged in nonfiction, I usually DNF them halfway to almost sometimes 3/4 of the way through, just because I'm tired of learning about that subject. So I'm moving on. I have a very short attention span. I did finish it, and it's definitely worth the read. It was just a much slower read for me. That's How to Do Nothing by Jenny Odell, and I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. It's pretty good. Okay, next one I picked up on a whim because I also finished 2 other books. They are future annual book club picks. I'm not going to talk about them in detail, but one of them is a contemporary YA, which made me want to read more contemporary YA, which is not a genre that I usually read. I've had this on my shelf for a while. I bought it when it first came out, and then just, you all know, it got banished to the bottom of the TBR for some reason, and I never actually read it. So I decided to pick this up, and I read it in 2 days. It is really cute. It has a very cute ending. It does have a little bit of a contemporary YA romance, but it also is a really important novel in terms of discussing things like trans rights, self-discovery, the importance of identity, and the importance of respecting other people's identities. I did read the author's note at the end, and Kacen Callender talked about how they realized that they were trans when they watched Degrassi, which I haven't seen, but apparently there is a trans character on that show, and it was the first time that they had seen someone who was trans represented in media. So Kacen specifically calls out that they wanted to write this novel in hopes that another teen or young adult might have that same moment with this novel. Felix is a very lovable character, and actually most of the characters in this were pretty lovable. The one thing that did annoy me or confuse me is, obviously I'm from Arkansas. This book is set in New York City. One thing I did not understand is how all of these teenagers just had access to alcohol at all times of the day. They're 16, 17, 18, and they would just go to the park and have a beer. And is that real life? Is that what being a teenager in New York is like? Or is that fiction? I was very confused. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. There were a few things with the writing that bothered me. So it wasn't quite a 4-star read. So I would say somewhere between 3.5-ish stars out of 5, but still definitely worth the read. The ending is adorable. Throwing glitter in the air, adorable. So yeah, that is Felix Ever After by Kacen Callender. Okay, last thing I finished. When I recorded this video for the first time yesterday, before my camera decided it did not want to upload any videos, I was partway through reading this and realized that I had book club meeting that evening. So I did finish this all in one day, and I kind of hated it. And I'm super disappointed because I was really looking forward to it, but it just didn't have anything. It just talked about a lot of concepts and like tried to make a lot of metaphors, but then those just never went anywhere. And I also am getting a little, after we talked about it in book club, I started questioning some of the like representation of witches in this, because at the end, I'm not going to spoil it, but it just, I don't know, it left a bad taste in my mouth. It does have some spooky moments, which almost made it worse that I didn't like it. But at the end of the day, I just wanted him to say something. Like, I wanted the author to just make a statement that I could understand without trying to feel like I was not smart enough or had to puzzle piece this together. But yeah, so this is probably a 2.5, 3 star maybe, just because it did have spooky moments, and I will give it credit for that. But that's In the House in the Dark of the Woods by Laird Hunt. Okay, so what I'm currently reading. Right now, only one thing for the first time in what feels like weeks. So I am finally started. I think I had just gotten this in the mail when I recorded the video last, but I am about halfway through The Liar's Dictionary by Eley Williams, and this book is so fun. It is such a joy to read for anybody who loves reading, but also loves words and new words and unique words. I mean, it's just, like, it's about a dictionary, so it's just full of puns and play on words, and it grabbed me from the very preface, which is written about, like, the perfect dictionary, and almost seems like it's almost from the perspective of a dictionary, and it was one of the most engaging prefaces I've ever read, and it made me really excited to continue to read. I think we're just not getting to kind of the upward slope of the plot, so I'm really excited to kind of see where the plot goes, because the beginning was just, as most beginnings are, mostly exposition, but just also a lot of, like, setting up the history of the dictionary and who the two main characters are and all of that. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to continue reading it. It's The Liar's Dictionary by Eley Williams. Thanks again to Doubleday Press for sending me a copy in exchange for a review. Yes, loving this so much. Like, I'm sure this is going to be a 5-star read. Okay, on to what I bought. So I still am using Book of the Month credits that my parents got me over a year ago. I've been trying to not support Book of the Month just because they are a giant corporation, and also they are not great about promoting books from diverse authors. So I have been, like, very slowly using these credits, but since my parents already bought and paid for them, I don't want them to go to waste because, you know, whatever. That's how capitalism works. Anyway, so the first one I did buy, or actually I'll do this one first, yeah. The first one I bought, this was my official Book of the Month selection, is Outlawed by Anna North, which you guys know my undying love for Upright Women Wanted, which is a dystopian Wild West novella. This is also set in a dystopian Wild West and centers around women's rights. It's about a young woman named Ada who lives in this dystopian future where if you are unable to have a child, you are deemed a barren woman and hanged for witchcraft. So basically any women are not able to have children are witches. And so she gets married, and she is very happy about the marriage, and the year into her marriage, she has not gotten pregnant, and so she begins to fear that she's going to be hanged. And so she runs off with a group of outlaws. And the group of outlaws is set on trying to, like, fight this system and rescue other witches, quote unquote. From the description, it sounds like my perfect novel. I haven't started reading it yet, but I'm super excited. I do hope that it lives up to the very high expectations that I have set in my head. But yeah, that's Outlawed by Anna North. Okay, and I'm super late on this train, and I feel really bad, and I'm very sorry for everybody who has read this. I know it's going to be amazing. I just hadn't bought myself a copy yet, but I did also finally get a copy of The Vanishing Half by Brit, Bennett. This has been on my TBR for a while. I just also usually go more towards sci-fi and fantasy, and this is a very real family drama. And so I have not really been in the headspace to kind of pick this up, but I am going to read this now. I'm very excited because every single person who I've talked to has said that it is one of the most amazing books they've ever read. It was up for a lot of awards. So like, I just need to sit down and do it. So anyway, that's The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. Like this video and comment and let me know what you're reading, what you just finished, what you just bought, any of the above. I'd love to talk to you all. And of course, subscribe to the channel. You can also find me on Instagram at NotSoWellRead, and I look forward to seeing you guys back here for my next video, which will be on Thursday. It will be a book review. I do not know a book yet, so that'll be a surprise to both of us. But I'll see you guys back then. All right, bye.